What's the cruelest prank you've ever seen? My ex-friend thought it was a funny prank to kill my brother's hamster and tie it up and dress it in ridiculous ways. Is he in jail cause that's a ducking future serial killer? In middle school, a girl came up to us on the playground and told this dude to go see the principal. He's looking for you. He got a call that your mom died. Then as soon as a dude ran away, she told us all she just made it up. It was ducking horrible. I feel like the girl wouldn't have a lot of friends after this. Yeah, she went from one of a clique of popular girls to pretty much an outcast. It was like weeks days before graduation anyhow, so I didn't really see a big fallout from it. But the guy was pretty messed up as a result, at least for that last bit I knew him. Someone asked a guy to be her boyfriend. He said yes, and the next day she invited all her friends to tell him that she did it as a joke. This happened to me. I got the courage to ask her out junior high and she said yes. I took her to a movie and asked her if she wanted to be boyfriend girlfriend. And again, she said yes. She carried on like we were dating, saying things like I'm so happy we are finally together. The girl would walk around holding my hand in school and I was in heaven. I couldn't have been happier at that moment in my life because I was dating my dream girl. All the popular dudes would snicker when we walked by, but I didn't care because I was too happy. A week or so went by and she was laughing when she said it was just a joke. I have never been so devastated. Friend of mine had a crush on his co-worker. It was sort of an open secret. His manager tried to help him, offered advice, some things to say, small gifts she might be into, etc. What no one knew at the time was that said manager and said co-worker had recently started dating and hadn't told anyone yet, so he meant it as a prank on his new girlfriend to be put into these awkward situations. But my friend's feelings were really hurt when it all came out. Wow, that is some class A ashlery right there. Catfishing seems like it can be pretty damaging to young people. I had it firsthand. My maid catfished me when I was coming back from my lowest point. Everyone thought it was funny until I started self-harming and shit. Got sent home and didn't go back to school until the next term. On the bright side, you get careful with strangers and the friends you make. So there's that. Demi Lovato paid a prostitute to sexually assault one of her employees as a prank. I may have conducted the most cruel prank without even meaning to. While in high school, once a month or so there was a half day on a Friday. It was posted and scheduled in advance. My friend and I liked to remind each other in the halls loudly that it was half day when it wasn't the right week. People would get excited and happy, then after lunch they'd see me and remind me that I was an asshole for getting their hopes up. Priceless and a harmless prank. One week we did this, and I guess the right people overheard. A few kids' parents were bus drivers. They called their parents to remind them it was a half day. Somehow it snowballed, and at 11:30 buses had parked out front of every school in the district, and they had to cancel the other half of the day because the bus service drivers were pissed to find out they had to cancel their plans for no reason. Principal called me and my friend to the office and said he knows it's our fault, but no one fact checked it, and so it wasn't really our fault. He smiled and sent us on our way to enjoy a half day. I spent some time in high school learning how to mimic the school bell with a whistle. We had an electronic bell noise, so it wasn't like an actual bell, and managed once to do it when the teacher wasn't looking at me and got us all dismissed from class 30 minutes early. The next day he wasn't even mad, he just laughed and congratulated us for pulling it off and said not to do it again. A group of girls at my high school told a girl that they were hanging out at one of their houses at 9 near a train station, but they really just made up a time and place that would make her stranded at the last train stop with no more trains home. That one prank from like 10 years ago pranked his friend that his best friend was killed in front of him. How YouTube 2011 was a different breed. We had a roast for my buddy in college that was supposed to be a lot of fun. My roommate decided to go after his ex-girlfriend the entire time during his speech instead of our buddy, which is a kinda funny concept. It ended up being a drunken therapy session for him where he aired out all the most personal aspects of their relationship to a room of 50 people. He ended the speech by throwing multiple pairs of panties she left at his house into the crowd. She was so mortified she called the police. Most awkward party ever. Pouring water on strangers. When I was a kid, somehow my classmates found it funny to piss in other people's cans of soda. I did not have a good childhood. Telling the new vet tech assistant that you have to stand directly behind the dog while doing anal gland expressions. The supervisor got mad at us when she puked, though. Remember that kidnapping prank that really kickstarted this whole trend of ducking cruel shit? That one. By far. Saw a guy tip over the porta potty with someone in it. That memory is clear. I think it was his GF. My mother was begging for a dog for years. One Christmas the current stepfather got her a box with holes and fragile stickers on it. It was a stuffed animal. The look of pure joy to almost instantly turn to tears. She locked herself in the bedroom for the rest of the day. He looked at me like I was gonna help. Dude, I got socks. Help has more green on it. She got a puppy a few weeks later that followed him around. Making someone believe that they have won the lottery and crush their happy feelings afterwards. This is the most cruel thing I can imagine. Making someone really happy and make them realize that it was all a lie. My father-in-law's friend did this to his wife. He recorded the draw from the week previous and bought a ticket with those numbers. She watched the recording thinking it was real time. I actually felt sick for her when I heard that story. I don't have a specific example in my life, but I've always thought those fake lottery tickets are cruel. Those people think their life is going to change, and then it's all yanked away from them while people laugh. Same energy as when a parent gifts their kids something in the box for an iPad Switch, something expensive and fancy, but it's really something shitty and lame inside. The entire joke is, haha, you thought your dreams were coming true, but then they didn't. Look at us, a bunch of kidders. To toy with your emotions like that. This happened to me. 7th grade during Valentine's Day. We had candygrams and cutesy stuff we could send to our friends, and obviously middle schoolers are sending them to their crushes. They would receive these candygrams during a class period as someone came by dropping them off. You could write a little message and then who it's from. I got one from this guy friend I liked and went up to him the next period and brought it up and said it was really cute and thanks. He looked a little confused but was like no problem. I felt kind of dumb after that and walked away, just to find out the next day that it was one of my friends who sent it to me and just put his name on it to make it seem like it was him. I mean, at least he was nice enough to go along with it because he was just as confused. A friend of mine faked her suicide to get back at her boyfriend for April Fool's Day. I had helped her without knowing she was going that far. Her boyfriend had called her a slut and dumped her when she told him she was pregnant. Don't miss living in college dorms. Don't miss either of them. A very lonely, shy guy that I went to high school with and was good friends with came to school talking about a girl he met online. He really liked her and couldn't wait to meet her. They set up a meet in town at a local pizza place. When he got there, the entire varsity football team was there. They had catfished him and broke his heart, all of them laughing at him and making fun of him on Facebook Live. I don't like admitting to crimes on here, but I'll say this. The main three that planned it were the QB, running back, and a lineman. All three had college scholarships waiting on them to great schools. Not a single one of the three was able to go to college and play ball. Funnily enough, Shy Kid is now married with 2 beautiful children. QB dude teaches gym at an elementary school. Unmarried. Running back moved to Indiana and I don't know anything about his life. Lineman dude is now 450 pounds of pure fat and works for a call center. Unmarried. Not the cruelest, but I had a co-worker call and tell me that my services were no longer required. I believed it for a minute. I started getting upset on the phone and my co-worker realized she needed to fess up and tell me it was a joke. I didn't find it funny. This incident happened a long time ago and I didn't do anything about it. If this incident happened today, my co-worker would be explaining her actions to her. This guy let his friend run around with a chainsaw link. Happened to me. Was at my first school dance in middle school. was always the shy kid. So I was surprised when one of the popular chicks came to ask me to dance. I said no because I was shy, but I was elated that I got asked. A few minimums later I'm in the bathroom stall and a few kids come in and start talking about how they paid her $10 to ask me, and if I said yes she would have just tripped me and made me look dumb. I never went to another dance hall throughout middle and high school, even prom. This was a long time ago, so details are fuzzy at best. I was in middle school when some kid decided to pretend to be this awkward kid's date, only to dumb him. The awkward kid went into a rage, and many others were pissed at the prankster. One fellow bully called the pranksters out by giving them a drawing of a black heart with the name of Cruella. Ouch. You know you ducked up big time when a bully calls you out for your cruelty. I was a huge Led Zeppelin fan growing up, and obviously my dad knows this. One day I got a message from him saying he had just met Robert Plant in a shop and Plant had invited me to come sit in for a studio session. I was naturally super excited and told some of my friends about it. I couldn't wait. An hour later, my dad told me he had made it all up. He's done worse things, but this one still cuts deep because of how mean-spirited and unnecessary it was. Any prank involving pretending to ask someone on a date that I witnessed in my youth group. It was pretty common, everyone had it happen at least once, and it happened to me twice, but both times I found the guy repulsive and told them so. Happened to me. At middle school I was very naive and a boy from my class kept flirting with me and everybody was pushing me to ask him out, but I was very shy. After a while, he asked me to be his BF during gym class, and all of my girlfriends from class told me to say yes because he really liked me and etc. Turns out, after I did say yes, told me that it was all a prank, and almost everyone in the class had participated in convincing me that it was real. Just why, man? I had so much trouble in trusting people again, and for years I turned a really brave and tough facade to avoid that ever happening again. Makes me think sometimes about how kids are really the worst. In 5th grade I opened a pack of ketchup and put it under my friend's seat during lunch. Guys were staring at her but all day. One even had the nerve to say ooh. Someone started early. She still threatens revenge to this very day. Shudder. I read that as cutest. The submissions were confusing. In India there are these YouTubers who were arrested for their pranks. In those scripted pranks they made a girl half naked and were touching her inappropriately. It was so bad that I don't even want to talk about it. And the worst thing is that almost all of his videos were like this. I mean, you truly have to be a low-life duck to do such a thing with women. I'm glad he is in prison and his videos have been taken down. A group of friends got together and one of the usuals, let's call him Eddie, didn't make it. Eddie texts asking what they're up to, and they sarcastically respond, celebrating your birthday without you. Lo and behold, it was confidentially Eddie's birthday weekend, and he had no birthday plans. Upon realizing this, the group bought and decorated a cake that read "Happy Birthday Eddie" and staged a series of fake birthday party photos to make him think they forgot to invite him to his own party. To keep the prank going, they dropped off the smashed leftover cake on his doorstep. He still hasn't found out, so they keep making elaborate stories as to why they forgot to invite him. When I was in 8th grade, a thing called turtling and zip tying backpacks were popular. Well, one day early in the year on the bus ride home, a kid decided to zip tie a 6th grader's backpack to the leg of the chair, which is welded to the floor. When he got up to leave and realized his backpack was stuck, he started panicking, trying to get it undone, and eventually had to leave the backpack, and he was stressing out, saying his mom was going to freak out on him. He looked like he was about to cry. I just got pregnant. Aren't you happy for me? Said on April 1st in front of a woman who had a stillbirth a month before.